Data centers are killing us. I'm sure y'all know that already. But for those of us that live in Mason County, that might be sooner rather than later. Their homes are being flooded by the massive construction of a data center right behind them, and you're never going to guess which way these people voted.
See, this is where all the water's coming in. And it's never happened like that, and I've been here 30 years.
I have to say that this image is haunting. It would be beautiful if it were a movie, a perfect dystopian hellscape, but it's real. The flooding that you see was caused by this massive clearing here because it turns out that clearing vegetation and the top layer of soil reduces the Earth's ability to absorb water, hence flooding.
Here's the water running down in our basement.
Rushing water, damaging homes, in an area where neighbors say they've never seen flooding.
This is a big flood we got at our backyard. And we've never had one of these before.
This is the home of Helen and Bob Humphreys. They've lived here for years and say they've never had flooding problems until a data center started getting built in their backyard. So you all have been here for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Have you ever seen flooding like this before?
No,
Absolutely not.
Never.
Homes along University Lane in Mason County now dealing with the fallout of flooding after heavy rains in the area.
The water's in our garage and under the house, and it's going to be hard to clean.
The Monarch Commute campus is being built right behind these homes, and they say in part, our stormwater controls were inspected last week and found to be in compliance with the approved plan. But the intensity of this rainfall exceeded the design capacity of the temporary erosion controls in place during construction, and one section of silt fencing gave way under the force of the water.
See, this is where all the water's coming in. And it's never happened like that, and I've been here 30 years.
This area behind the homes will house an AI data center.
To be fair to the residents, who some of which didn't vote Trump, it's not like they have much of a chance. When big business comes in, they don't play fair. For example, Nscale, who's responsible for all of this, came in hot with donations and gifts. Here's the headline from Metro News. Nscale meets community, presents donations to local services at Mason County meeting. State Delegate Jim Butler said, I think it's important to get the accurate information about the benefits of this project, as well as maybe address some of the misconceptions with the water usage and the noise and all that kind of thing. I think there were some great presentations that made it clear that we are addressing all of those issues, and we've addressed a lot through legislation already. But of course, it turns out that those weren't misconceptions. For example, Nscale did some snaky shit. They accidentally, quote-unquote, mixed up the dates so there was no public comment. Here's from WVPB. Date mix-up prevents residents from commenting on data center permit. Mason County residents meet Tuesday to gain more information on a proposed data center coming to the area. More than 60 people showed up. That was March 17th. 2 days after the actual comment deadline for the NPDES/state storm water construction permit. The correct date of March 15th was published in the River Cities Tribune and Register, a local newspaper. An incorrect date, March 25th, was published on an email system called a listserv run by the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection. The mistake was attributed to a clerical error. Oh, a clerical error, a little oopsies that can't be undone by law for some reason, not allowed to go back. But it's not against the law to have a clerical error, as if a clerical error is the hand of God that can't be stopped. The people in Mason County did try to stop this, but as they put it, there's not much that they can do. Here's the headline from West Virginia Watch: Not good economic growth. Residents call for protections against proposed data centers in West Virginia. We have a population of people in southern West Virginia who have had enough, said Tanya Mounts, who lives in Gilbert, close to the proposed trans gas development. We have lived for generations with big business coming in, taking the resources, using the people, and leaving them with the effects of that. Health, environmental, and otherwise. And now we're going to get more of the same, Mounts continued. Residents are angry that their local governments and themselves have no power to dictate how the developments will function in their own backyards. They're concerned that thirsty data centers will drain their local water supply or flood them, something I'm sure they didn't consider. They fear that air pollution from the power plants will harm public health. They're frustrated that the state government and developers have not practiced transparency regarding the developments. They're worried that noise and light pollution from data centers will alter their communities in irreversible ways. It's almost as if having large corporations dictate how you live your life isn't a good way to run a country. Let's call that, capitalism. What can any community do, realistically, to stop these massive conglomerates from buying up all the space around you and flooding you with rain and cancer particles?
I don't know why they didn't think of it to start with, because they knew the water would come in. Why didn't they prepare for it?
Project manager Jason Butchell says the rain exceeded the approved design capacity, splitting the silt fence, and referred me to their statement. And although Nscale did acknowledge responsibility and will be reimbursing residents, homeowners say the damage is done and the headache continues as they go into this week without AC, leaving them wanting an escape.
Well, our house shakes. It trembles when they use that big equipment over there from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. It's going to ruin the foundation if it ain't already ruined.
And residents want out, but no offers to be bought out by the project that's turning their lives upside down.
Vicky, I said, you got any offers on your house? She said, no. She said, ain't nobody going to buy this place. They looked at my backyard and they said, no way.
The company says crews are continuing to reinforce the site with more rain in the forecast, but residents here say cleanup is only part of what they want.
And this might be a bit of an aside, but something to consider is the fact that flash floods in West Virginia are only getting worse. The severity of this situation was clearly created by the construction site, but the severity of flash floods in the area is rising. Here's the headline from the West Virginia Gazette: Flash flooding frequency on sharp rise throughout West Virginia as climate warms. Something I'm sure is just going to go away, especially once that data center gets built. If this year's El Nino turns into a super El Nino, there will be a lot more damage than just a flooded kitchen.